everybody, and welcome to another vlog. To all the creators, to all the artists, and to all the entrepreneurs and innovators, welcome to my comfortable office. Now, in today's vlog, what I wanted to talk about was things that you can do while you wait. And the reason why I wanted to bring this topic up is in particular because in the last couple of weeks I was having an incredible difficult time with this whole setting up a small business, a small entrepreneurship journey that I'm going on. And while I had my product designed and I created it, when I received it, I didn't quite gel with how it came out, how it turned out, and it was a little bit of a setback for me actually. I had an incredible time dealing with that. Okay, so what are some of the things that you can do while you are waiting and at the same time if you're having an incredible difficult day? So like I started saying a couple of weeks ago, I received my product that was being created, and I must tell you I had an incredible challenging time dealing with the fact that what I received didn't quite match my vision. And I was struggling to be able to move through that day. I mean, to the point that all these doubts, self-issues started coming up. You know, can I actually do this? Is this going to be a viable business, etc., etc. So I thought, why not share with everybody what I've been doing as a result of that moment, and what are some of the things that you can do while you wait, and how do you move through those difficult times. So I do have, again, a couple of notes in front of me, so bear with me because I don't want to forget anything that I've written down. Now for me, what's really important is to have a routine, and I can't begin to explain to you guys that a routine is something that I stick to every single day. I get up at the same time every single morning, which is around 6 o'clock in the morning to 6:30, and my day starts with exactly the same process. What I started looking at then after that challenge of a day is, what can I do as a result of what was happening? And so I started asking myself, what would my best version of myself do or deal with that particular situation? And so that was an incredibly important question. Number one is that to stop crying about it, that everything is down to me, that I had to see that for what it was, and that it was actually an opportunity to perhaps look at something better than what was already created. Second thing is, of course, to ask for help. Now, for those that are following me on Twitter, and know what I do every single morning, that every single morning I have a meeting without an exception and talk about the vision that's in my head and in my heart every single morning. And so in this particular moment, I put up my hand and started talking to a person that I find quite helpful and very honest as well. That's really important. So I put forward my proposal and what was bothering me, and receiving his perspective was actually quite helpful because I started looking at that particular situation, that particular problem with new eyes. So asking for help, really important. I then went back to the start as well. I thought, well, okay, what can I do that's in my control, and what can I not control? And so the things that were in my control were things that I was creating. You know, manufacturing the actual product is not in my control. So I had to let that go, which meant that I had to wait another couple of weeks to put in the order, have it produced and have it delivered. So what I could control was looking at, for example, upskilling myself. I started asking myself what were the things that I was really good at and what were the shortfalls, and upskilling myself in terms of my all of the things that had to do with my business was incredibly important. And that meant looking at PR and marketing, and what can I do with what I had. You know, I'm on an incredibly small tight budget, and how can I build up my marketing with what I actually had. So that's really important. At the same time, I went back again and thought, well, you know what, I still need to think big. While my business and my current stepping stone journey, my creation of my business is small, my brand did not have to be small. In actual fact, I see my brand incredibly big. So I started going back into the definitions of my brand and how I saw that, and started redefining some of those ideologies that I've created. For example, if you think of yourself driving on a highway and your business name is on a large billboard, now I think a driver driving 110 kilometres an hour will probably have about 10 seconds to soak in your business. And so if you imagine putting up your business name and your brand on that billboard, and if it doesn't impart the message to that driver within 10 seconds, then you need to relook at that brand and see how you can deliver your product in a far more quick and succinct manner. So that's what I was doing in that last week. I also started acknowledging some of the things that I needed help with, and I know that this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs probably don't avoid, because it's really difficult, or avoid I should say, because it is difficult to self-reflect and to look at what we could do better in ourselves. And over the weekend, one of the great skills and great self-reflections that I learned again was to look at the bigger picture. That while the little steps can be a little bit challenging, and every step that I take, I can sometimes get stuck on them. I have to take a step back, reanalyze everything that I've done and put together, and then see the bigger picture for what it is. So these are some of the things that you can do, and of course remember that perspective is always incredibly important. I know that when you tell somebody to look at a different perspective, particularly when they're having such a difficult time, might not be the ultimate solution. Taking a step back, even if you have to go out and have a cup of coffee, talk it out with somebody, a friend or your mentor, you'll find that in hindsight, that perspective was actually quite helpful. So I hope that, guys, that small amount of information has given you all something to think about, that even though waiting can seem quite daunting and challenging, and you think that you start to question yourself, it actually is an opportunity to relook at all the steps that you have created, maintain your routine, upskill where you need to, and of course look at a challenge in your journey with a higher version of yourself, and reanalyze what you can control, and the things that you can't control, let them go and wait for them to be created by the people that you have. Up on in some of the points that I've mentioned. Number one is to upskill yourself. Even though I think sometimes I come across incredible information, I actually feel more stupid than when I started with, because I find that there's so much more to know out there, and I never rest on my laurels, and I'm not complacent to think that I know it all. So never ever stop learning. Continue to upskill yourself in all areas of what you're doing. Of course, don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions, and particularly if you're on forums or people that you're surrounded with. Again, hearing somebody else's perspective is really important. It gets you thinking, do I have everything set up correctly? Do I need to revisit a certain point? Look at what makes you different. Really important. Know your point of difference yourself, and what are your key strengths. When you are able to articulate that really well in that new direction, you're able to then deliver your brand a lot more smoother as well. And of course, know your brand back to front, and keep on researching. So there are many things that you can do. Again, apologies for keeping you guys in the dark for the moment. I am waiting for everything to almost come together at the same time, and the minute that my product is manufactured, I'll be able to talk to you guys about how I came to to develop that, how I came to creating my business, how I came to name of my business, and so forth. So I'll give you guys all that information pretty soon, but in the meantime, go and upskill yourself, research, learn about where you want to take your business, and never stop learning. So thank you guys for tuning in. I look forward to bringing you more videos, and in the meantime, keep creating, keep innovating, and never stop building what you know is in your heart.